And then do this. I will say there's a very nice feature with Opera where I can just like tell it to, you know how windows will like snap to corners or whatever?
Yeah.
You can actually get it to create more panes than that.
Hmm.
So like I can set it up to be thirds. I can set it up to be like six,
Interesting.
like three stacked on top of each side. It's
Yeah.
actually much better. All right, join voice and video. There we go. When I'm done chewing. Mike having camera issues, or are you similarly snacking?
No, I'm fiddling with it,
That's fair.
but I won't wait on that. I should have it in a minute.
All right. Well, pull up my notes here. Okay. So, Zaki did have a good point. There was quite a lot that happened last session. But a lot of it was lore, and therefore I'm not going to go too heavily into specific recaps because I don't want to spoil what's important by highlighting it. However, I will say, I think you all, upon returning to Valaki, not only managed a few errands that you've been meaning to accomplish, and also managed to reassure Lady Wachter that things will be going as planned. But also, you did loop back on a couple things that had been sort of hanging above you. Narlug finally took the time while he was alone to perhaps examine what might be going on with his seemingly independent shadow, and discovered that it seems to be able to talk. Not out loud, but by utilizing things around him to highlight words it wants him to know. I'm sure you can fiddle with something to make communication even easier, but curiously, it seems to also be able to sense your intent. Probably not your true, deep, concealed thoughts, but still enough that you might want to figure out exactly what it knows and how deep it can really pry. Um, you also were able to, through quite a bit of magic expenditure, and knowing that perhaps she would be valuable in your upcoming coup attempt, um, Ervir pulled Lady Wachter and her daughter Stella aside, and though the poor young girl seemed afflicted with some manner of madness that made her believe she was a cat, um, Ervir was able to diagnose and solve that problem, where we left off with Lady Wachter acting softer than you've seen her with either of her boys, relieved at Ervir's efforts and at Stella's miraculous recovery. However, uh, pop this out for my own access. The other three of you were left unattended with quite a lot of breakfast on the ground floor of Wachter House, and it was expressed that perhaps you may wish to dig a little deeper. You have seen that around the house, there's at least a butler, and the brothers do live here, though they are not currently in the room. Let me fix that. Um, but yes, you wanted to poke around, and I'm certainly not going to stop you. I believe Irina is also not currently here. And Ervir, you would find yourself upstairs. In fact, you would have passed through the house, so I'm going to give you some visibility here, because you would have seen that. This is currently unlocked. And Ervir, you should also have the front stairs revealed, I believe, from previous. I know you're not currently in the game, but I think that should be fixed now. But yes, as far as who you've seen around the house, because I believe that was broached last session.
There we go.
Yes, there is a butler. You did see a head maid at one point, and the boys Carl and Nikolai. But this morning, as early as it may be, I don't believe you've seen any of them. And Fiona is up with you, Ervir. So left to your own devices, piles of cakes and pastries and roast meats in front of you, and a cheery fire in the hearth. What would Ayakobachi, Ralmir, and Narlug like to do?
Well,
We're flashing back about 10 minutes, maybe 15, perhaps
It
even a little bit longer
took me
from
at
where
least
we
10
ended.
minutes just for detect
Yes.
magic.
But then each individual spell only costs you 6 seconds.
Yeah,
So as
did
you
I
went,
rapid fire that though?
that didn't work. That didn't work. I guess if you didn't, that's fine. But let's see how this plays out. Let's see how long it really takes
First thing
them.
Yakobachi's gonna do is he's going to reach over for some flapjacks and he's gonna pour on some maple syrup. He's gonna be like, "I never knew that tree blood was so delicious. It's the best type of blood I've ever
Whatever
tasted."
you call it, I'm scarfing it, and Arleg's just grabbing food and smashing it in his face. He's not even thinking about a meat pie right now.
That's fair. And yeah, the food on order here, or on display, I should say, is like she casually just summoned this in for all of you to consume. Not summoned magically, but had the butler bring it. But you know from last session, like Danica mentioned, livestock is not really a thing that most people have access to, but there's plenty of butter and cream and things that would only come from cows here. So Lady Wachter clearly has some big food hookups too, not just wealth to afford all those shiny old lady rings she wears. But yeah, the food is all overall delicious. She's a rather dour and grim woman, but apparently they eat well. She is rather plump after all.
You think Ervir's okay?
I mean, well, we'll find out eventually.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any blood curdling screams or anything, so I think he's okay.
Right? No screams yet.
What were you thinking,
yeah.
Ralmir?
So the over here is just like that's just like a fireplace.
Yeah, so it's a big, like, very cozy fireplace. And I can give you the description of this room again. I shouldn't say cozy. Nothing in this house is truly cozy, but the fire itself is burning well. So you are in... the parlor. 3 elegant couches surround an oval table made of black glass. All are set in front of a blazing hearth, above which hangs the portrait of a smirking nobleman sporting a broken nose and a tangle of hair graying at the temples. Several small portraits hang on the north wall. You can see that this man is much older than either Carl or Nikolai, but clearly there's some familial resemblance. This is probably Lord Wachter, who, though I don't think Fiona has mentioned, you probably would have heard mutterings around town that he had passed not long before you came to Valaki.
Okay. I'm going to. I want to investigate to see if there's anything peculiar like burning in the fire though. And while I'm like looking at that though, I'm gonna try to see if there is anything hidden within that painting of him above.
Okay. Like looking for secret symbols or signs or anything like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. See if I can find any cult related things in the painting, basically.
Interesting. Okay, go ahead and roll me investigation, I suppose. It's quite good as usual. In the fire itself, you don't find anything that stands out to you. Wood ash and more wood ash. And I guess the only thing that might be different is undoubtedly, occasionally they'll throw in herbs and flowers and things to kind of just perfume the room. But you don't find any like shards of bone or anything suspicious, which is, I assume, what you're looking for, anything sacrifice
Yeah,
related.
yeah.
Um, You know that while the windows here are enchanted to be able to make a grand display of this prophecy, if so desired, she's probably smart enough to conduct any of that sort of business somewhere else more secure and secluded. And I will remind you, you have heard mutterings of some sort of uh, basement meeting place.
Okay.
As for the portrait, there are a few things that stand out to you, but even with that 19, I don't think you're sure if you're just kind of jumping at shadows here. Certainly, given your background and also your suspicions already being confirmed that she's up to some shady shit, there are a few symbols in here that you could see being cult-like. Um, you know, uh, in the background, there would be things like showing his wealth, signs of a harvest, bundles of grain, um, probably actually even hung up like on a hook, a number of like hog or boar carcasses, things showing like opulence, and you could see like displaying of a body, or even the bundles of grain are sometimes symbolic of cult-like things, the ill-gotten gains, but you don't see anything here that tells you it's overt. There's no secret, thing that you'd be familiar with, both between Thieves' Cant and your research. Nothing here is like a glaring red flag. No skulls or pentagrams, I'm afraid.
I wouldn't think it would be anything like that obvious if it's the front room, though. I was just seeing if there
Right.
was like a little like symbols like here and there.
Mhm.
That's basically what I was looking for. Obviously, there wasn't going to be
Yeah, I would
no.
say one or two yellow flags, but no red flags.
Okay. I mean, that was kind of what I was just
Mhm.
looking for initially. Where is the
So
is this
there,
is this room leading to the basement? It's just this upstairs.
you don't know yet. You haven't actually been out there. I will remind you the main staircase is to the east of this room. I'm on the GM layer pinging. The east of this room leads to kind of like the entry hall and the stairs up, but you didn't see stairs down there. And I don't think you've really, other than Ervir, who was shown up to the second floor, been shown anywhere else in the house.
Okay.
So there's a
Um.
door where you are here and then here. And I don't think you know either of those, but I will say the first time you visited, you heard it sounded like a bunch of women kind of having a seemingly like amused conversation through this northern door.
Okay. Um. I suppose I will do a perception check though to see if I could like hear anything through
Sure.
this door
Yeah.
here.
Press your ear to it and kind of listen. Go ahead and give me a perception.
Unless Lakabachi, because I don't know how good his perception is.
I'm real good at it, but I got a face full of waffles right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Eating. I'll check it. Maybe I might get a good roll.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You kind of press your ear to it, and I think you don't hear any obvious sounds of human habitation, but you would hear for sure. You're pretty sure the fire is lit in this room beyond the door because you hear the crackle and pop of more burning logs.
Okay.
But you don't hear, I mean, with that roll, like you can hear the fire distinct from the fire you hear out of your right ear as you like press your left ear to the door. You're pretty sure it's a big open keyhole. You peek, you don't see anything. Uh, maybe they just keep the fires burning to warm the house. It is chilly in Barovia.
Okay. I'm going to try to see if I can open the door though, but I'm gonna open it up kind of like slowly, like just so I could actually like
Sure,
look
like a
for the
peek
door.
first. Mhm.
Yeah. Did you want me to sneak check for that?
Yeah, why don't you give me a baseline stealth here? Okay, man, you are on a roll, although you better be careful, you appear to be counting down. Uh,
I figure what, 19, 18, 17.
so as you kind of crack the door, you catch a peek to the right of a lit fireplace and also some leather armchairs. But Nothing that, jumps out at you as a person, and you kind of slowly ease the door all the way open.
Yeah, like slowly but surely. I was just seeing if there was like anybody.
Yeah, just quietly. Yeah, doesn't seem to be anybody in here. Wood paneling, embroidered rugs, colorful furnishings, and a blazing fire make this chamber stiflingly warm. Mounted above the mantel is an elk's head. Across from the hearth, tall, slender windows look out over dead and depressing gardens. And you don't see anybody, so feel free to scoot in if you'd like. There is no other door leading from this room that you can see.
Okay. Um. Here, I'm gonna do a investigation check outside the window.
Sure.
And I'm just gonna be like, Webward, go with him and make sure nothing bad happens to our friend Raumir. If you need us, we'll be here. And I'll be like,
Sure.
pass the butter, please. This butter is delicious. And Webward will make his way with them.
Sure. Do you have vision through Webward?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, whoops, that's intimidation.
That
I'm
is
at
intimidation.
Webward is scared.
But your investigation would be 4 better. So your investigation is a 21.
Okay. Yeah, it's the button right. Investigation. Was
Yeah,
right
you rolled a
below it.
15, so whatever that plus.
I
your
think
strength.
that's high enough that you'll catch some collateral stuff, even though you're primarily looking out at the garden. So you kind of glance out the window, and while it's hard to see from that angle, it describes that there's windows on the west wall. I'm just going to pop you outside the wall so you can see what I'm talking about
Okay.
on the map. The gardens outside are, as I said, definitely dead and definitely fairly sad, but you can see clear indications that somebody still goes out there and like pulls weeds and tries to water them. There is a reasonably well-worn like little footpath to and from. And also you see clean and well-maintained gardening tools stacked along the edges of the beds. But as you kind of like scope out there and you turn back to take a second glance at the room, I think what you would spot is on the, you just kind of glanced over it at first, but on the table here is a literal solid gold goblet. She's served you out of fairly nice crystal. None of the cutlery or flatware is cheap here. But yes, there's like and you can tell immediately it would be valuable, but because it's so valuable, it probably would be missed. Same with everything else I'm about to list. Sitting next to it is a crystal wine decanter that you also recognize as extremely well made. Several electrum candelabras scattered around the room, and a bronze urn with frolicking children painted on its sides. This room is probably where she either spends her time lounging alone because this is much more decorated, or perhaps entertaining particular guests, which might make you wonder why you, seemingly her favorite person, have not been invited here before. The fire is set for 2 chairs in front of it, but there is only a solitary goblet.
Okay. That's peculiar. Obviously, I'm not going to swipe out anything though. So.
Just if you're scribbling for your own notes for later, in the event that you do bump off Lady Wachter and want to loot the house before the peasants get here, the den seems to have some valuable treasure in it.
Yeah. We'll be back here later.
Mm-hmm.
Because I at least want that goblet eventually.
Sure.
That's probably worth a good chunk of change. It doesn't look like anything too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything significant above the window that's above the couch?
No, it's a similar deal to the other one. They're just kind of positioned so that you
Okay.
can see out. But the couch would, it's just pushed in front of the window, not blocking anything. You kind of take a peek behind. But the windows are set like waist high, and the couch only barely covers the sill.
Okay. Then I'm going to leave this room, and then I'm just gonna close it slowly, just so I'm not making any noise.
Sure. All right.
Gotta make sure that door is closed again, because that
Mhm.
would be
Suspicious.
it would be very suspicious. Um,
Webber just scuttles under the door.
Right, just scuttles underneath.
oops, okay.
We can keep your perception. You haven't moved too far from this position. You're pretty sure, as you kind of listen in here, you hear soft snoring somewhere at the other end of the room on this side, the far side of this door, somewhere over this way.
Well, I assume that's probably um, where her kids are probably sleeping at, I would imagine. It's still early. I
You
forget
would
what.
think probably that the young lords of the house would have private quarters upstairs. Your best guess is probably this is servants' quarters.
Right. That would make sense. Okay. Same deal. Then I'm just going to. Um. Yeah, same thing though. Open it up slowly. See if I can.
Okay.
You want me to do another stealth?
No, I think it's fine. Same thing. You haven't moved too far, and you haven't done anything too drastic. So, yeah, you kind of slowly peek the door open. This door actually opens towards you, which makes it hard to peek around, but as you kind of crack it and slowly and carefully swing it on its hinges, which thankfully are well oiled, you can definitely hear snoring now for sure once the door kind of cracks. Sounds like only one person, and they do sound quite heavily asleep. Probably a man, if you had to guess, based on the deeper tone.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to. I guess I'll just see what's in this room here.
Sure.
So,
Okay, so you're gonna peek it open.
yeah.
Okay,
I guess I would only really realistically be only to see here.
about that much. But still, if you kind of like peek around, you can. I'll give you slightly more if you like lean around the door. The furnishing in this room are completely without imagination. 4 simple beds with equally simple wooden chests at the foot. Clearly servants' quarters. And if you chance peeking a little bit further around, you could see there's a uh, relatively heavy-set looking guy still wearing a flour-covered apron, snoring away with a bottle of something in his hand on the far end of the room.
Okay, so it'd be a good assumption that he's probably got drunk and fell asleep.
Mhm. You would probably clock it as the cook told to make this extravagant breakfast early in the day, uh, who is now sleeping until he's required.
I'm going to.
But yes, there's clearly a door to the east there. And I think this door doesn't even have a keyhole or even really a proper latch. You are now on the servant side of the house. This is a simple wooden door with like a loop of rope kind of punched through it and tied on one side, you assume on the other as well. More for ease of access. People might be coming through here carrying platters of things. Easier to just be able to push the door open.
Yeah, I guess I'll just take a peek through the door, see if this leads to anything significant, because I'm not seeing any cult-related things here.
Nothing yet, no.
Is there? Actually, is this the same garden?
Well, the same grounds, yes.
Yeah.
There's not as much like obvious attempts at flower beds or planting here, but you can see, kind of a rolling back lawn, and well off in the distance, like probably a couple hundred feet away, a small, rather bedraggled-looking barn where there are 2 cows out grazing in a fairly small pasture.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll just take a peek through this.
Sure, go ahead and just pop it all the way open.
Oh, more doors.
Yep, the door opens to 2 obvious, one that leads out, one that leads deeper in, and one that leads kind of along the outer wall. You know this is an exterior door, and this door does have an obviously quite visible lock.
Okay, yeah, so that's gonna lead to the outside.
Correct.
Um, try. Um, I'm going to.
And
How approximately how long have I been doing this for?
you're moving quickly, I assume, maybe 2 minutes.
Okay. Guess since
Moving at a turtle's pace. It's been a half hour.
Right.
oh,
So you have 2 other doors here. They're both simple wood, sort of like that other servant's door. Are you closing the one behind you that you passed through, or are you leaving it open? It doesn't have a latch or anything. I'm just wondering if you're trying to like
I'm basically
cover
just trying to.
any obvious signs that you moved through here.
Oh yeah, I should. I think I'll close it.
Okay.
And then yeah, I'll check the. I'll take a peek at the door on the south.
Okay. Go ahead and crack that open.
See shoes.
What is your passive perception?
Passive perception is not great. It's 11.
That's actually enough. So servants' coats and aprons hang from hooks in this room, with boots neatly lined up against the back wall. As you kind of glance in, and riding off of that very high investigation, I think you immediately catch that the floor has the slightest layer of dust on it, but in that dust is an obvious arc of a door, even if the wall right there on the left doesn't have any obvious door in it.
Okay. Should I? If I like step in there though, would that like mess up the dust or?
Um, you can probably make a hop to where it's clean, I would think. You're dexterous.
Okay. Yeah. You know, it ain't gonna make me do like acrobatics. Just
No, I don't think so.
little hop to make
It's
it
a
fun.
5 foot hop. You're not being threatened by anything. There's no pit of lava. You guys are level 7. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is no clear sign of like a keyhole at first or a latch or anything, but I assume you're trying to figure out how it opens.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you kind of trace your fingers over it, you're a rogue. You know how this stuff goes. Maybe it's, you have to knock gently here. No, that's not it. You feel the seam, you look for a switch, there's nothing, and you go, well, sometimes it's just the simple answer. And you push lightly on the wall and you hear a click. And it swings open just a little bit, and then you can see in the side, as there's a slight clattering as it catches on something, there's a chain with a lock on the side of the door.
Okay. I guess I will use my thieves tool to see if I could pick the lock.
Sure. Oh, man, you are rolling good today. I guess you do have a lot of investment in that. So you are easily able to, you're like, oh, amateur hour. You whip out the picks, you just click, 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 and you're done. Like, real quick. It's a reasonable quality lock, but it had to be small. And that means it's fairly simple in mechanism. You just pop that open, and the chain retracts. You have a feeling that it will automatically catch when the door is closed again.
Okay.
And the door swings again a bit towards you to expose this mechanism, and then once the lock undoes, the movement of the latch, like opening and the chain retracting, causes it to swing, revealing stairs leading down.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I will.
Iron torch sconces cling to the wall of a stone staircase that cuts its way through the heart of the old house. All right,
Peek
so you
around.
will.
Peek. I'm peeking around the corner though, because
Well,
I
it's
don't want.
kind of a straight shot, actually.
Okay.
And Webward, I'll move you to. Hang on. So, the air is definitely stale down here. Not as though it never moves, but it is a dank stone basement after all. You find yourself at a little landing here, set a ways above a floor below you. Let me get you the description, sorry. This large root cellar has a dirt floor. Two ascending flights of stone steps, which you will glimpse as you peek around the wall. So go ahead and move 5 feet down just so you can see what I'm talking about. Are enclosed by wooden railings standing across from one another. Tracks in the earth lead from one staircase to the other, and trails go from both staircases to the center of the bare wall to the south. 4 neatly made cots are set in a row against the wall.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause something tells me if I don't want to go like too deep in though, because I'm kind of nervous if I get found by that imp.
Mm-hmm.
So
And actually, if you're thinking about the imp, give me another active perception check.
Can my boy
Ooh.
Webward get one?
Yeah, sure. How smart is Webward?
Webward is dumb as shit. But I was thinking
Okay.
maybe if he perceives something and is like walking up an invisible creature, he just doesn't really know. I got a 4.
You know what? Actually, so Webward, this would be perception. Spider's not capable of investigation in this capacity that I'm asking for. And actually, I think it's not to ask for a reroll, but I do think it's investigation, not perception. What I was trying to see
Oh
whether
yeah,
or
there's no
not
way he could
you
investigate
caught on
anything. I
to.
was just maybe accidentally walking or crossing an invisible creature. Would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But no, he's not.
Webward's 8 eyes are trained on the room around you, looking for a thing that is invisible. But hey, spiders see an interesting infrared spectrums. Maybe
Right.
he'd have a chance.
Maybe have a shot.
yeah,
But yeah, Rolmer, give me an investigation instead. I'm sorry, I asked for the wrong skill check there.
sure.
Okay. I think as you kind of look around this room, you're looking for signs of the imp. You spot in the dirt there are a number of teeny tiny footprints. Anybody with less sharp eyes might mistake them for those of like a cat or something, but you see tiny clawed feet and distinct toes like a cat would not have. You can see that the imp clearly does come down here, and they're among the footprints that lead to this, again, to your eyes, obvious secret door. However, there are a couple other things that you spot in the room down here. The floor, for lack of a better term, bulges in a few spots. Scattered around this general area, there are odd, like, lumps and protrusions in a couple of places. And while you can see that the footprints pass over some of them, it still puts your trap sense on edge.
Okay. Mm,
You don't know what, but you're immediately like, something is wrong here.
Yeah. This might be. I'm starting to think that this might be something I might want to check out later, though, just because I don't want things to go
Totally
awry.
pear-shaped. Yeah.
Go awry when it's just me and Webward down here. So
Weber might leave you hanging if shit goes fry. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't. He's a spider. He might just run away.
yeah.
You know. He
So
has no loyalty to anybody.
Leopard scuttling up the stairs like, nah, bitch, piece rip.
Ah!
So I mean, I got information that I wanted to. So
Yes, and I will
I-
point out another thing. You can see, based on where these stairs to your right go up, the exit, just knowing what you know of the size of the house, is probably outside. So there is another way into this basement.
okay. Yep. That's good enough for me for right now, though. So I'm just gonna just head on back.
Okay. Slink your way up the stairs.
Yeah. And then we go after I go upstairs. So I'm just gonna mention
I'll
that
move
I'm
you
just
both.
gonna set the lock back.
Okay.
Lock it back up. Though I'm gonna do another hop though, just so I'm not messing up that dust.
Sure. Yeah, you kind of gently pull the door shut behind you, and as it closes, you hear the click of that lock re-engaging. And yeah, with a little hop and a skip, you are back out in the vestibule there.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna.
I closed it, but you can open it again. Are
I'm.
you stopping to make sure he's still asleep?
Yeah. Do you want me to
Okay.
do another perception check or
Um, yeah, sure, why not?
just? I mean, I'm pretty sure he's still out because I was probably down there for like 30 seconds. But
Yeah, you kind of just like real quick, all told, probably a minute. Oh yeah. Easily hear the snoring even through the door. Definitely
then
still asleep.
I'm going to head back through. Oh, I'm going to close this door back up.
Okay.
Open this up. Close this door back up.
Woodward, no. Oh, okay, yeah, you can still drag him across. I wasn't sure if the door was locked.
I
If it
just got him out.
prevents him.
I just got him out.
Okay, and then I'm just going to sit here though, and I'm going to enjoy some food.
Fair enough. Works for me.
And I will. It's not best to relay the information here though, so I will do that
Probably waiting
later.
till later. Okay.
Later, and then just so I can also explain stuff to Irvir too, since he's not in the room at the
Mhm.
moment.
So in that case, let me cut back upstairs in 1 second here, Mike. I want to make sure I have Stella's sheet up just in case I need it. Okay, so we are going to cut to, God, that is a horrifying image for her. That is just default Barovian noble. She does not look nearly as spooky as that token would have you believe.
I was gonna say she's looking awfully hag-like.
Yeah, no, there's a handout somewhere. Supplemental materials. No. I would think it would be here. Okay, well, I guess the mod is laid out differently, but there is an image of like the general. Oh, here. This is the art style that most of like the Barovian general people have. And that is one of the nobles taken from that. The book is very horror-y, and I think that sets a
Baby's got like a little giant club. That's
tone I don't entirely agree with. Yes, I love that. Made of a skull by the looks of it.
It's pretty cool.
But yes, we cut back to Irvir. Lady Wachter stands near the foot of the bed. Stella is, sitting up prim and proper on the edge, and she does look a little bit bashful because she is just like in a nightgown, and not a particularly clean one at that. But she clearly looks to her mother for any sort of reassurance here, and Fiona is still shockingly, from what you've seen from her in the past, soft and gentle, and reaches out and in her big knobbly hand covered in rings, takes Stella's and covers it with the other. It is okay, daughter. Irvir here is a friend of Mama's. I brought him to you after he told me that perhaps he could help you with the sickness you have been suffering from. And you can see Stella blinks up at her, and she's similar to Carl and Nikolai, reasonably handsome by Barovia standards. And I say handsome, not beautiful, because she has a rather square jaw and kind of harsh cheekbones, but she has big blue eyes. She kind of looks up at her mother, and sickness. I don't know what you mean. Oh, my head hurts when I try to think back, but I remember leaving, and you see she flinches, and there's clearly something like she doesn't. You can see a physical reaction, like she doesn't even want to touch on that. I don't know how long it's been, or things are hazy. And Fiona, it is okay, daughter. My beautiful Stella. You have been returned to us, and that is all that is important right now. And she turns to look to you, Irvir. If she is calm enough, and if you agree, daughter, perhaps you could make sure there are no other lingering issues. It seems perhaps maybe she ought to rest soon, but... And she kind of defers to you, knowing that you're the healer in this situation.
I can't remember. I think I was intending to make sure that I detected magic one more time, just to make
Yes.
sure that I had gotten everything.
Detect magic
Actually,
is
that's probably where we-
concentration and lasts for, is it 10 minutes? I think it may still be running.
Double check here. I don't
Definitely has like a
remember
length of
what-
time.
Oh, yeah, it's up to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think you've probably still got it going. And you kind of cast a look up and down across her, and while some of those signs are still there, like a lingering effect was removed, it's like anything, right? You take a rag and you wipe something away, it leaves a slight debris behind.
Yeah. Got
But
like
you
a
don't
nice
detect
wispy aura.
Yes, but you don't detect anything active here. She's still definitely been touched by magic, and not even just the magic that was on her before. You can see your own lingering behind at this point. But you don't see any active effects on Stella. Though, out of the corner of your eye, you do catch that Fiona has a few magical effects on her, though your assumption would be that they are positive. Abjuration and enchantment, the sort of thing that a, wealthy noblewoman who consorts with devils might carry on her person to keep herself safe.
I was gonna
Uh,
say either magical items or like
Yes,
hacked
that
armor.
several of the rings, you're pretty sure you see an amulet. Perhaps something even under the bodice. But nothing that is like actively flaring right now. Just things that probably could be activated. But Stella, as far as magic goes, is fine. Perhaps a medicine check seems most appropriate if you are really, giving her another once over.
Sure. Yeah, especially because I want to make sure physical wounds were taken care of. It didn't look like it at a glance to justify cure wounds. It should not have guidance, I believe.
That's okay. The 12
Take that
tells
off.
you, I think, fairly simple things, but is enough that I'll give you a complex addition. So, first glance, right? Simple DC 5 stuff. She's dehydrated. She's a little bit malnourished. You assume not because Fiona hasn't been trying to feed her, but she has thought she was a cat for an indeterminate amount of time. So you can tell she's more gaunt than she probably should be, and she seems like she's probably a little weak. You see some bruises, mostly on her knees and palms, like she's been
Where she's
crawling
running around
around on
like she's
all
a cat.
fours. Yes. But other than that, no clear signs of recent physical injury. But as you do look her over, I think you would spot a few things that perhaps even Fiona wouldn't have noticed yet. As you kind of like trace her collarbones to make sure that nothing is broken. One of them has an obvious obvious under your touch, but not obvious from sight, like a deformity in it, like it was broken and reset not
Yeah.
quite correctly. You can tell that several of her fingers and toes have been broken. And though I think she'd be shy to like disrobe so you can like fully inspect every inch of her skin, you could probably get her to like lower the top of her dressing gown in the back at least. That's where you saw those weird scars that had a
He
magical
may
aura.
even like turn around and ask Fiona to check for very specific things, I guess,
Fair
to
enough.
like give her some guidance. I think he's very like on point when it comes to a person's
Yeah.
dignity.
And well, that's what I'm saying. I think without her feeling like
Yeah.
she's been done an indignity, I think she'd be able to show you like the top of her shoulder blades and kind of the center of her back. And you can see what you would probably describe in an academic sense as ritual scarring. Like a clear pattern has been etched here. And while you're no arcanist, your magic is a little bit different, of course, than that of, say, Narlug. You recognize this as some sort of complex arcane working that was tattooed is a strong word, because it's not ink. But that's
Flayed.
the idea that yes, flayed, cut repeatedly with some sort of small knife until it scarred into the pattern that they needed.
I want to do two things. How long would it take me to write it down?
To jot that down, probably not
To
super
see if I
long
could
if
ask someone
you're.
else about it.
I think if you want the full picture, you might have to ask Fiona to copy it because you can see that it extends all the way down her back.
Okay.
And if you are trying to be modest, but for her to at least give you a rough sketch, like charcoal on paper or something to that effect, a couple minutes, 2 or 3.
I would want to make sure that it's legible, that if I ask someone, they could potentially identify what it is. But maybe not so precise that I make a spell scroll for Fiona.
So you're telling her basically, if this is something useful, we can replicate it for you?
No.
Oh, no. I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
No,
Brian was bothering me knowing that we're busy.
I don't want to. I don't want to accidentally activate something
I
by like
see.
finishing a complete arcane circle.
Okay.
So if I tell her just like, yeah, give me a rough sketch. She knows magic.
Sure.
We both know she knows magic.
May I ask how you present that? How do you ask that question in character?
Well, I'll ask my second question first then, because it would impact it, and this is not a character question. Can I heal scarring with cure wounds, or is that like?
Typically that would be more of a kind of like a lesser restoration kind of thing, I would think.
You have. I wondered that too. I have that prep too.
And I know you burned 1, but while there's no clear low-level thing that does that, I don't even know if regenerate is still a spell in 5e. But there used to be a specific spell, higher level, I believe 5th, for healing grievous physical injury.
Okay, so we'll say it's a
usually
grievous thing, so a higher spell slot than second would be required.
Well, you could probably smooth some of it over in terms of like the aesthetics with a lesser restoration, but if you're really trying to get rid of all of the deep scar tissue, because you can tell she'll have some tightness and some limit to her mobility because of this, that's a higher level spell. But if you want to just make sure that she doesn't have to see it, it is mostly on her back. I think you could knock that out with lower level magic. Cosmetic fix.
Yeah, okay. Then I will phrase it thus. In respect for the young lady's dignity, Miss Wachter, I forget what she told us to refer to her as.
Lady Wachter.
Lady Wachter, right. Lady Wachter, if you could jot down the symbols there on a piece of paper, I'd like to investigate a little bit further into what this was. It does not need to be complete, as upon doing so, I'll do what I can to ease some of the scarring as well, so that shall mar her no further.
She, as you start to talk about, specific magical effects and stuff, you can see a hitch of worry, and her eyes kind of flick to Stella. And I think you're an empathetic enough person. Call this a, I guess, passive insight. You catch she's worried that you'll tell, or you'll say anything about her shady business in front of Stella, which immediately tells you she doesn't know.
Alright, yeah, I don't expect her to know. I just expect her to be able to replicate it.
No. I don't
drawing
mean that
her.
Fiona doesn't know this spell. I mean that Stella doesn't know what Fiona is.
Oh, okay.
There's an obvious hitch as you go, oh, could you replicate this, arcane mark? She immediately thinks about if she needs to stop you and lets you finish without interruption, but you spot that hitch as you go to say that.
Okay, then I think
But she considers...
picking up on it, he'll elaborate. As a woman of high station, I'm sure your penmanship will be able to replicate it well.
And there is a almost imperceptible little, exhalation as you kind of explain. And she, yes, perhaps it would be more appropriate. Um, please do not go far in case there are questions I must ask, but if you would, and she gestures to you to turn around.
He'll bow and leave parchment and ink quill, I guess. Whatever.
Sure.
Charcoal pencil, maybe.
Sure, I think charcoal pencil probably seems like the way to go.
Yeah, and just stand outside the door.
Sure. So as you step out into the hall, I can give you the proper description up here as well. It's simple, but might as well. A hallway with a window at each end wraps around the staircase railing. Framed portraits and mirrors festoon the walls, surrounding you with judging looks and dark reflections. But within the room, you can hear just the faintest muttering of a soft conversation, and then the scratching of a charcoal pen across a parchment. And after a few minutes, Lady Wachter will actually step to the door and will gesture so that she can step out into the hall with you. And as she kind of squeezes by and goes to close the door, just stay soft. Thank you, Mr. Irvir. I am in your debt. That goes out into the hall from Stella within the room.
It's certainly my pleasure. I deign to aid those when I can. She was certainly in need of it, and he'll lower his voice a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And Stella will.
The one responsible will be punished.
I would hope that you would see to it, but the details of such matters are not for delicate ears. And she bows properly to you, gives you a good, quarter bow, which is more than you've seen her do to anyone except for Ralmir. I thank you for what you've done here. I feared she was lost to us forever. I am in your debt.
You've already done much to aid us, and he'll return the bow. And with that, I believe there's one more task to be done, and then probably best to let her rest. If you'd like to stay by her bedside, I can certainly see myself and my companions out.
She hands you the rolled up parchment. One more task to be done.
To fix the scars.
Oh, I see. Yes. Do you think perhaps it's best for her to rest for now? Or would you like to... she's asking, do you plan to do that now, or were you going to come back and do that?
Oh, do it now.
Okay.
Just get all done in one swoop, and then let her rest and let her mind heal.
And yeah, she had the key in her hand as though she was going to lock the door again, but she nods. Very well. I will wait out here. And she gestures for you to go ahead. And yeah, we can, unless there's anything
We'll
super
speed that
specific.
up. Yeah.
But yeah, Stella, you can see is already kind of curled up into a bit of a ball on the bed. And as you slip back into the room, you can hear Lady Wachter call out into the house for fresh bedclothes and a proper blanket and all of that. And yeah, Stella kind of groggily looks up at you, and I'm sure you would explain just a little something for the pain, just to kind of help. And yeah, I'll ask for just the use of a lesser restoration. And again, though, she's not gonna take her shirt off so you can really see. As you lay a hand on her shoulder and the spell washes across her back, you see that though the scars don't fully disappear, they sort of transition from an angry, agitated red to a faded, pale, almost white. An old scar, one that's been there for a very long time, which blends much better with her alabaster skin. And in fact, I think as the spell works and you pull your hand away, you can hear that she's already softly snoring.
In that case, if Lady Wachter did not come back in,
Yeah, she's waiting in the hallway
quietly
for you.
exit and close the door as softly as he can, and let Lady Wachter know she is sleeping. And
She nods.
While the scarring's not completely removed, it's significantly improved.
Even that is, well, nothing short of a miracle. And you can see she thinks about going to relock the door and kind of shakes her head thinking better of it and puts the keys back in her pocket. And will kind of show you back downstairs to where everybody else is waiting. So down that main staircase, yeah, I moved you. And we'll bring you back in.
It's very dark in here.
In here? You should be able to see.
Oh, I guess that second map was just fucking huge or small. I don't know. I was only in one small corner, I guess.
It is a very large map. It's
way
3 versions of the house stacked on top of each other. It's the upper floor, middle floor, and basement all on one map. But yeah, she
comes back down looking fucking exhausted.
Right? You've been wrung out like a sponge.
Like he didn't even sleep at all last night after this.
Got syrup all over my face.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready for some adventuring.
Yeah, you come into all 3 of them just like, slain by breakfast. And Lady Wachter, though she's certainly in a good mood from what you've done to her here, can't help but there's a little bit of a really look on her face. I see that breakfast was to your liking. She kind of glances around at the mostly empty plates. I am glad that or I guess she would probably use his name. Sorry, scroll up. Oh my god, I had it highlighted and I lost it. No. I am glad that David's effort was appreciated. I will make sure to let him know. And you can see she glances to that room that Ralmir, as the servants' quarters, as she says so. Ervir here has truly worked a miracle for my and my daughter's benefit. Breakfast is certainly the least I could offer, but... And she considers. Perhaps I can arrange another gift for you in the near future. For now, though, there are many things I must see to. Now that Stella is back with us, her room must be redecorated, now that it's safe to have normal furnishings in there again. And the servants must be told, and a slow reintroduction to her brothers, and then society at large can begin. I thank you kindly, but if... please do not think me rude. If you have all had your fill and a proper rest, I ask that you allow me to attend to family matters. And she would politely but hurriedly show you all out.
Reveal nod and probably like give some last minute, very like superficial medical advice. Be
medical,
like,
yeah.
don't overfeed her. Like,
Yes, bed rest,
reintroduce
normal amount of
controlled
food.
portions.
Yes. And she nods along. And I think makes an offhanded comment in there. As unfortunate as it is, I am well versed in caring for someone who is bedridden. We will not treat her as a full invalid, but we will be gentle with her. Do not worry.
People simply smile and leave with everyone else.
Very well.
On my way out, I just nod. Yeah.
And yeah, she would, as ever, give you a little pat on the cheek. But I think even for you, Ralmir, she's a little bit distracted at the moment.
Yep, I'll just put Weber in his pocket dimension, hang on him for the next couple hours, and it's my way out.
Is it your literal pocket?
Yeah.
Familiars can do that now. They're just out of existence when you don't need them. Yeah, it's like a summon, resummon.
Neat.
But yes, it's my pocket. It's right here.
But yeah, you find yourselves back out in Valaki. It is still early morning. We're talking like 8 a.m. because you guys said you rose, immediately and went there. If you did intend to head west today and perhaps make an excursion to Arkenvost, there's plenty of time.
Yeah, I just say me and Ralmer go snag those silvered weapons, get those maybe wrapped up so nobody sees us putting them into our
Absolutely.
stuff. And
they still go back into their same sheaths.
Perfect.
So since it's just the blades, I don't think you need to do anything else to conceal them as long as they're not drawn. And as for the arrows, same thing. They slip into a quiver. You would spot one thing though, a sign of a particularly good smith. Each of the arrows that has been silvered, as you kind of, run your fingers over them to make sure that they're still fine, the notch at the back that actually sits on the string, he's added a teeny tiny bead of some sort of epoxy or resin, I guess is more realistic for the technology level, so that you can feel just purely by touch which ones are silvered arrows and which ones are standard arrows.
nice.
That's nifty.
But yeah, he thanks you again for your
Nods on your
patronage
potion
and
belt.
exactly. Thanks you again and reminds you that any possible smithing work, you've certainly paid him plenty for him to make you priority number one.
Nice. Got that juice.
Mm-hmm. And given that it is early in the day, and that many of the encounters that are a risk to you are not really a morning thing. Let me make a quick roll here. I assume you're going to collect Irina and Von Richten to take with you, but is that
was
the
my
case?
assumption.
Okay.
They usually do.
Yeah, usually our backup squad,
All right.
B team.
Let's see here.
Van Richten's for backup. Rita, because we can't trust Isak.
And we don't trust
Fair
anybody
enough.
around this town. Yeah, or anywhere.
Fair. The two of them are already aware that you were kind of planning to do this today, and I think would be up and ready to go. You notice Von Richten has some blood on his hands. But your sense of smell, Ayakobachi, I think immediately identifies it as not human. And he's kind of like washing them as you come find him over at the Arizek stockyard. He probably just fed the Great Hunter.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you're talking literally.
Yeah.
Literally blood on his hands. And yeah, just kind of washes up and, nods along, ready to go. But just so you know, in character, he is still taking care of that thing. It's not only you that's feeding it. I know you bring it treats, but
I mean, it made it this
Irvir,
far. Somebody's feeding it.
how do I have an empty box from you? What is that about?
'Cause, I was trying to enter an inventory thing, but those were actually my attack slots.
I see.
Mm.
In case I
Yes,
forgot
that's
that
the
I
attack
have.
roll for the charcoal drawing.
Yeah.
I should note that down in my own notes as well.
Which, once we get out on the road, he will show Narlock.
And I suppose, like when we're out, like traveling, though, I guess I'll relay the information that I.
And while you're traveling, just give you a quick summary. We'll kind of progress through it. It seems as though this morning the woods are fairly quiet. Not entirely unearthly still, like you've seen before. The fog is fairly dense, but there is sun today. It's not, or well, what passes for sun in Barovia. It's not even really raining. It's just kind of gloomy. But you do hear birds and other small animals, kind of flitting between the trees. And I think after about 10 minutes, you even hear a frog.
Ooh, that was my doing.
Ribbit.
Mhm.
They made it back here already?
Hey man, frogs travel fast. Or something. But you proceed along the road to Arkenvost over the river here, and then over the river and through the woods, but not to grandmother's house. But yeah, takes you perhaps an hour of walking to wind your way there through the trees. But we'll pick up again when you get close. Just if you guys want to recap, or if there's anything other characters wanted to add in, please do.
A leisurely walk would not count as a short rest, would it?
Typically, no, but I'll give it to you.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, we could find time to rest later.
Yeah, we can
I'm
find
okay
some time
with it.
later. Or yeah, I mean, I'm down
For
one
just
wild
for-
shade,
for-
but I don't know.
That's the thing. You guys spent a bunch of stuff in what is functionally a role play encounter. I think if you had wanted to spend the time before you headed out of town, that's fine too. You will have short rested by the time we get there.
Okay, yeah. I was going to use that opportunity to harness divine power to refund my
Yeah.
second level spell slots, and then
Yep.
refund my channel divinity from the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll get a wild shape back, so it's not the worst thing.
Okay.
So I still have no third level spell slots, but my other
I
spots
got
are
you.
good to go.
I got you covered. And you probably have a fourth
Again,
still, right?
I can still spend the fourth if I need a third level spell,
Right.
like
Correct.
Revivify. But yeah,
But I'll keep my thirds opened up so that if we need.
I will
to
save
revive.
it for that, if just in case. Like, I am never going to have 0 spells that can revive somebody from about now on.
The one
Like,
time you do, we'll need it.
exactly.
Right.
It's actually like, this motherfucker forgot today. Go teach his ass a lesson.
Opportunity detected. No, I'm not that kind of DM. Your enemies might be that kind of enemies if they were watching you very closely. But, yeah, so you kind of loop everybody in Ralmir. Is there anything in particular you want to call out? I know everybody was listening, but I don't know if there's anything on the character's mind.
The one thing about like the lounge room though that kind of caught my attention was the 2 chairs in front of the fireplace. So I'm not entirely sure if that's for like a special guest though, or if that was her and Lord Walker was their private lounge area too. So I don't know if it was like anything suspicious or if it was just like a nice little quiet room for them. Because there was
Hard
nothing.
to say, but I will say for clarification, both chairs do seem like they were clean and were regularly used. No dusty armchair left empty for the husband's ghost or anything.
Was it just like a drawing room?
Yes, a parlor.
Like a lounge.
Um,
I
mhm.
mean, she could also have like just kept it clean, just because
Mhm.
that's where her. I mean, she could be the reason why her husband died. I don't know,
Hard to
but I
say.
mean, but I part of me like just thinks that it's probably nothing too suspicious. However, the basement's a different story. But I guess I'll just relay though. It looks like there was probably a lot of traps there. It's where the imp seems to be at though, just because I saw like the track marks on the ground, and then there seems to be an entranceway from the outside to the basement.
Mhm.
That's pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much all I found before I went back. So nothing too crazy.
With
I
all
think.
that in mind, we may have some very significant issues in our future.
Mhm.
Because part of what I was able to glean during everything is that it shouldn't surprise us, but Lady Walker does carry several enchanted items upon her person, which we know she can procure them because she gave some to us. So we really should have thought about that a little bit. But she definitely has some on herself if anything comes to blows. Second, Berger Master's son is an extremely capable mage. He can harness magics that I can't quite touch yet. Pull the charcoal drawing out, hold it to Narlug. Can you make anything of this? There's only one of the spells that I was able to glean any insight to, as it was etched onto the young lady's back from scarring.
Go ahead and give me.
And he'll maybe even direct a little bit that to Romir a little bit too. Just because of the ritual.
Yeah, can I do a religion check on that?
I.
I assume it's more meant to be like an arcane tattoo, just
It
Yeah.
grim
is.
as fuck.
Or,
Um. Let's see. I think for you, Romir, you can make a roll, but be aware it's going to be a very high DC for religion. Even for you, Narlug, I'm looking for DC 18 Arcana to identify this.
Arcana. All right,
Yeah.
Narlug's gonna rub his chin, give this thing a good look.
Oh shit!
Damn.
He looked the fuck out of that thing.
He did.
He's seen that
Narlug,
one before.
yeah. You have seen something very similar. Wizard spells are unusual, right? Even if you've managed to come across somebody's spell book, it's never quite castable for you. Even if you could make sense of the runes, you got a glimpse at a traveler who came through your encampment a long time ago. Some sort of very important man. And he mentioned to you that among the darker magics in his spell book, there was a particularly nasty spell that targeted not just the body, but the mind. And in fact, it bears a name that reflects that. An 8th level enchantment spell,
My
Feeble
God.
Mind. Now, you get the feeling that this is some sort of corruption of that. It's not quite as effective, and it probably didn't harm her physically. In fact, you know that Feeble Mind does a bunch of psychic damage to the target, and if they don't successfully resist the secondary effect, mechanically what it does is it makes your intelligence and charisma 1. It strips you of your personality, of your intellect. You basically become a babbling idiot. And describing what happened to Stella earlier, Narlik, I think you could identify, yeah, this is some serious magic, but I think with that high roll, what you identify is this is beyond the caster's actual ability. He had to make a real mess of this to make it work. It's kind of the equivalent of duct taping something back together because you don't have the actual part you need. This was him fiddling with some high level magic he couldn't quite do, and so he had to make it this brutal ritualistic mess in order to slowly enact this on her. But yes, you recognize similar effects to the Feeble Mind spell.
Pretty epic.
Yeah.
8th level spell just running into that shit.
Mm-hmm. It's a nasty one. And I don't know if you probably haven't seen anything like that done. But you have at least one spell in your spell book that reminds you very gently of it. You still have
Mhm.
Tasha's Mind Whip, right?
Correct.
Yes. The spells share similar roots, damaging the mind directly and making
Right.
the target clumsy. But yeah, you can manage that one, but this is out of your league for sure.
Right. We're literally 4 times the level.
And I think, yeah, Von Richten is like, oh. Well, I guess he's Rictavio right now. So
Are
there's a
there,
slight. Go ahead.
what I think there's a D&D equivalent in The Witcher. It's like dimeridium handcuffs or some shit. Basically, spell inhibition handcuffs.
They do exist. They're a relic item.
Oh fuck!
Nothing so easy to make. However, there are like spells that do something to that effect, though they tend to be static. Anti-magic field for one.
Yeah, I mean, I know even like Zone of Silence will stop verbal components.
Correct. And same thing with
Hold person
deafness.
for somatic.
Blindness, deafness also impacts. I think Rictavio would lean over and let out kind of a low whistle. Well, that's a problem. Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't think there are too many people here in Barovia that could possibly, well, not only enact this, but help with solving it. And the fact that you did is quite impressive. If we want to understand a bit more about the actual spellcasting process itself, any glances north of where you are, off into the woods. I don't even want to bring her up, but there is one person we might be able to talk to. Not now, but before we go dealing with Victor, it might be worth at least popping over and seeing if she's home.
It's the hag again.
No, thankfully not. No, I'll admit I've called her one on an occasion or two. I was kind of hoping we wouldn't have to cross her path, but no. An old apprentice of mine. We're estranged is a good word for it.
I can only assume there's a reason for that.
Far too much to get into right now, but yes. And I'll admit, not without fault in it all. But that's for another
Eager to
day.
hold his tongue.
Point being, Relda and I don't get along anymore. But she is the foremost wizardly expert that I'm aware of in these lands, other than maybe Casimir. But their specialties are very different. Combat caster through and through, this one.
What was that name drop?
Relda, but you get the Relda. You get the feeling that's a nickname.
Got it.
And it just... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Yakobachi will just talk about how Feeble Mind is a very powerful druid spell that a lot of druids just kind of talk about like it's a legend, but he's never seen any druid cast it before, and he kind of gets excited, like look on his face, kind of gets a smile that he might be able to fight some very powerful caster in the future, or hunt, excuse me.
Yeah. Powerful indeed. I've been in this game a long, long time, and that sort of magic is well outside of my reach, too. Not that I'm a druid to begin with, but 8th Order spells are, well, that's serious business. I'm not sure, honestly. Been a while since I've caught up with Relda's specific talents. I'm not sure she's there yet either. But, well, even I can only manage 5th tier magic.
Still impressive though.
And he'll, yeah.
Considering your
Um,
pragmatism and your target, I'm surprised you'd keep a tool in the box like that.
As I said, falling out, and not a minor one.
Obviously.
He rolls his eyes a little bit, but you can tell, like, he's shaken by seeing magic like this, just out, not in the open, but like in the wild, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
And yeah, he spends a good portion of the remaining walk just kind of like muttering to himself and kind of lost to conversation. But I think that Irina would, kind of sidle up to you like she often does on long walks, Arvira, and just, it was kind of you what you did. I know Fiona can be rather grating, and, well, Carl and Nikolai were old friends, though I can't speak for them now. What I mean to say is, it's a bit of a unpleasant family to deal with, but it was good of you to help them regardless.
I'm happy I was able to help her, but it has made me resent the damnable tasks set before me all the more.
And she kind of grimaces. Well, there maybe still are alternatives. Or at least limits to what we might have to do.
We can only hope for now.
She nods. Well, I know you'll do the right thing in the end, whatever that may be.
At least what I perceive it to be at the time.
And she kind of glances skyward. You see her looking for the actual sun for a moment, and with a sort of half smile. That's really all we can ever do, isn't it? And she'll, kind of fall back a couple paces, and you see her just like checking her gear and stuff as you walk. But she knows she kind of stepped slightly in an uncomfortable topic there and gives you a moment of space. But yeah, you guys wind through the woods. And as you head south on this little jog, when you passed this before on your way to Kresk, this intersection, this, I should note, there's still like a road here, but the trees and shrubbery are not being maintained, so they've started to kind of encroach on the path. And this last bit is really the bulk of your travel time. As you wind south, the trail goes from like proper road to like full of potholes and divots to like barely still cleared footpath.
It's just a footpath. Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe some broken
Um,
branches.
Yeah. And this really, like, the last bit, you might even need to, like, draw swords and hack through some of the undergrowth unless you want to take long paths
Dude.
around.
Fireball.
Oh, or the axe.
The axe.
Been waiting
The
for this
fucking.
moment.
Oh, I was made for this.
Narlug is ready.
Narlug's running point, dude. He's up front, just bah, bah.
But yeah, as you take this last kind of final push through the woods, the Old Svalich Road here begins to climb up into the foothills. And high above the river valley juts a quiet promontory upon which looms a sepulchral mansion, its turrets capped with fairy tale cones and towers lined with sculpted battlements. A third of the structure has collapsed, however, as has part of the roof, but the rest appears intact. A dark octagonal tower rises above the surrounding architecture. Out of the fog comes a distant peal of thunder, quickly accompanied by the howling of wolves in the woods below. But the house itself stands silent, seeming like the fossilized remains of some long-dead thing smote among the mountainside. And we can bring you to the map. I'm probably going to have to fix vision. But let's do this. You will find yourselves. I don't know if you can see my ping.
Yeah, do we gotta drop ourselves?
Please do.
For the ping.
Oh, I see vision.
Boom! Holy shit!
Yeah, it's a big map.
Oh,
Uh,
fuck. I understand now.
Uh-huh.
Hell yeah.
This is only one floor.
I didn't see where the ping was at.
Down here. Kind of like lower third on the left. Ping, 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 ping.
My ping-a-ling. My
Honestly, you
ping-a-ling.
could throw it like anywhere on the
Yeah,
bottom
honestly,
left.
anywhere on the
As
bottom
long
and
as
to the
it's,
far
yeah,
left.
anywhere on the bottom left is fine.
Yeah.
I saw vision change. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
There you is.
All right.
there we go. Okay, I
Oh.
didn't realize how big this place was.
Big as
Alright.
shit.
Yeah,
Zooming in and
it's-
out and the dynamic lighting do not mix
No,
with how
No,
often it has to redraw it.
It's a little laggy, unfortunately. Yes, you find yourselves in what obviously was once a grand approach to this stately old, well, castle is really the only word for it. And ahead of you, in the circle that would have been sort of, the central path for carts to turn around and such, perched atop a 10-foot wide, 10-foot high cube of granite is a moss-covered statue of a dragon. Its wings are tucked close to its body. The statue looks east, towards the mansion itself. Is that already open? Why won't that pop out again?
Order of the Silver Dragon.
It's not already open, but it won't open. 1 second, I'm gonna reload because it's cool art.
Whoa. That's pretty cool.
Right?
Oh, that won't open. That's weird. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
But yes, you see that up on a plinth above you. And ahead, flagstone steps flanked by stone railings climb to a landing in front of a pair of tall wooden doors with rusted iron bands and knockers shaped like small dragons. Carved into the lintel above the entrance is the word Argenvolstholt. As far as you guys are aware, you hear howling way off in the distance in the direction you came from, but it's not as though it's even close enough to be a worry that anything's charging towards you. But the grounds here are as quiet as the grave. What would you like to do? I'll drop Irina and Von Richten out there as well.
Guess I will. I want to see if there's anything cool. I'm gonna do an investigation check on the statue, see if there's like anything
Sure.
else on it.
What about like I don't know, a history check or something to like what would be proper to introduce yourself at like a
Interesting.
castle or something similar? Like what would proper etiquette be to announce yourself?
Yeah, go ahead and give me. I think history is a good option there.
And then I was thinking, like, do I know anything about? Or first off, can I even tell this looks like a silver dragon? First off, yeah, do his thing first.
Go ahead and roll me nature.
Yeah, maybe I know something about people who,
Actually, no. If you're looking at it closely, it just says in the mod, close inspection reveals. Yes, I'll cover that real quick because I'm on this line. This clearly does look like a silver dragon to you, Ayakabachi, and one of fairly noble bearing. Though in the sculpture of the statue, you feel like it was probably reflecting, the majesty of this creature a long time ago. The spiny frill behind its head has cracked and broken in many places. And the statue, though it's not actually all that large, looks really imposing because of how it was placed here. Relmir, you're looking for anything special about the statue itself? You said?
Yeah, or like either like just that, or if there was like kind of like move like the moss around though, see if I could like find anything underneath all
Sure.
that stuff.
I think you don't find anything obvious underneath anything like on the bottom of the plinth. This probably again is more just a indicator of the Order of the Silver Dragon that once resided here, and likely you wouldn't call it a mascot, more of like a an icon of their order. But as you kind of poke around at it, are you climbing up and around on the darn thing, or are you just kind of like searching around the base?
I'm kind of just going around the base, so
Yeah, I think with that high investigation, you spot nothing out of place about the statue itself, but I think because the roll is so good, I'm going to give you that in the dirt of the path, there are fresh-ish boot prints here. Somebody coming and going from the actual front doors.
okay. And then I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna call Lakabachi over though and say that I found track marks.
Yeah, I'm
Fair
gonna
enough.
check out those track marks, see if there's like human or if they're big or small or.
Give me another nature roll. Ervir, history. I'm going to go with the 10, because I assume you don't have actual advantage there. But I think even that's enough for an understanding of, basic courtly behavior. You're an educated man, after all. A peasant, I might ask to roll higher, but, I think you would
Educated,
understand.
but doesn't stand on like station or anything. Like does not
Right.
have to deal with like nobility generally. It's quite the opposite.
No, but by that, I mean, like, you were
Yeah,
sort of
stoic.
trained to serve a purpose that might touch nobility.
Yeah,
So you're aware of at least basic protocols. You might not know which of the
especially like
tiny forks
guards
and
or maybe
knives,
knights.
but yes. So I think you would know that typically someone would announce you, and you would be received by some sort of either butler or head of house from the serving staff. But also you would expect there to be guards posted outside the front door, which
Yeah.
there are not. But it would be improper probably to intrude without announcing your presence. Whether or not you decide that's a good idea is up to you. I think Irina is probably fairly wowed by the statue, and Rictavio, I think leans against one of these little, like pillars and kind of takes in the overall state of the place. Nature. That's the tracking, right? Or is it survival?
No, it was whatever you said nature, but I
I
just
said
rolled.
nature, but it is survival.
Okay, then let me do that.
So you can take that die, or yeah, just reroll
No,
it.
it's a 7, so it'll be like 13.
13?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think this is not something people are trying, oh, not people, but whoever's leaving these prints is not trying to hide them, right? And I think you would identify very quickly that you asked, is it human? Is it not human?
Yeah.
The answer is maybe. And by human, I assume you mean humanoid.
Yeah, humanoid foot. It's not
Um,
like a giant ogre foot or nothing.
They are boot prints. They are of a general humanoid size. However, you notice something really unusual about them. Like, not. How do I put it? The left foot looks normal. It leaves a full boot print. The right foot only seems to leave the back half of a full indent. Like, literally, the middle of the foot kind of stops, and there's only the faintest indication of where the toes should go on that side. Like, there's an injury or a limp, or maybe even like the front half of the boot is empty on that foot.
Half-footed man. I'll keep an eye out for one.
Strikes you as odd. But yes, there's one set like that seems to repeat fairly often. And by that I mean you can tell some of these prints are older than others. but it seems to be only this one weird lopsided stride, repeated probably over days or weeks or even months. But yeah, Irina is kind of wowed by it and mutters, "I'd always heard about this place, but, well, I'll be honest, I thought a lot of it was fairy stories for children. I didn't really believe it was real."
In my personal experience, when the legends become truth, they're usually very disappointing.
She kind of glances over to where Rictavio is staring at this massive, like, half-collapsed tower. And she does kind of wilt slightly. It's not quite as majestic as it always sounded.
Sure, in its heyday, probably quite beautiful.
And
I'm gonna
she'd
keep-
smile softly, I'm
gonna-
sure.
Keep following these tracks. Yakubachi's pretty invested, so.
Sure. So what you kind of see is that, like, they come out of the front door, and, step down on to the promenade here. Kind of seem to take, like, a patrol pattern, kind of down towards here, back out towards the road, and, like, extend a little ways, and then come back. Like a little loop. Just kind of like checking the front grounds. And you notice that there's only mud on them going back up the stairs, not coming down.
Mud.
Okay. I'm gonna have my shield and my spear ready to go. Not so much in a threatening position, but just out and ready.
In
And
hand.
I'll start to walk up the stairs and just listen and see if I can hear
Click.
anybody. Yeah.
As you step onto the stairs, there is a grinding noise, and the statue of the dragon, the jaw, wobbles and unhinges, and, well, you would assume back in the day, perhaps it would have been a little bit more imposing, but right now, all that comes out is a rush of vaguely cool air. And you think about it and you go, huh. Well, knowing what you know, perhaps it was originally intended to mimic the freezing breath of a silver dragon, but it's in disrepair just like everything else here.
Seems to be a malfunctioning trap. Maybe I shouldn't be focused so much on these steps, these footprints, and I'll just start looking around to see if there's any other weighted steps, if they're all weighted, or if there's a safe way to walk up here.
Yeah, sorry, click is my generic stop.
Yeah.
There's a trap going off. No actual physical click. It was a magical
Got it.
trigger.
Well,
Seemingly an outsider approaching the homestead.
Erbir will
But yes, after a
ask the
moment, the
party
dragon's jaw just back into place.
if they think we should announce ourselves as if they were a still functioning night order.
that makes sense.
Based on the one we met on the road kind of knowing who he is sometimes. And he didn't really show open hostility, but that was when we were both travelers, and now we may be trespassers if we cannot get ourselves invited in.
I mean, we can't just let ourselves in, though, then they know we're not vampires.
True.
I think Rictavio would actually laugh out loud at that. Oh, in a bit of a silly way, that's actually not a bad point. From what I understand of the histories, the Order was not particularly fond of Lord Strahd or any of his minions. If we do just stroll in, well, assuming this dump still classifies as a private residence, it might show them we're not, at least, undead in that sense.
Imagine they have a big welcoming foyer, anyways, for that reason.
Well, I'll clear my Yakubachi will clear his throat and he'll say, "Order Otis Tort. I am Yakubachi. These are my traveling companions. We're coming inside to prove we're not vampires."
Interesting. So you're just calling that out like you're not like bellowing it, but at a reasonably high volume.
Yeah, I'll just yell it out like you would anyone who's announcing themselves in like a ballroom, you know.
Like a
Okay.
herald.
Yeah.
Roll initiative. Bam.
Interesting. I think as you call that out,
I don't know if Otis Tolt was the name of the knight or the order, but I put order Otis Tolt.
Argenvost Holt.
Yeah.
Spelled weirdly.
I don't know why I put Otis Tolt. Maybe I just had no clue how to spell it.
Yeah, it's a fucking mouthful. Order of the Silver Dragon. But yes,
Otis
I-
Tote, Knight of Argonville.
Otis Tote.
Sir
Yes,
Tote.
Otis Tote is the head of the knights.
Beautiful, because here's how I spelled it. So I'll put that in there.
There you go. Pretty close. As you call that out, I think you hear a couple of small rocks skitter to the ground from this tower. As something shifts over that way. But there's no answering call. There's no, obvious movement of the front gates or anything. The place still stands still and silent.
You think that worked?
But if you take many steps forward, the dragon does not reactivate.
Alright, yeah, I'll start going up there, looking at the rest, doing like hand signals.
Alex gonna be a little closer here just in case he has to cast some shit.
Rictavio will go to say something and then just take the glasses off, turning him back into Von Richten, and calls over to Irina after muttering under his breath, getting more and more exhausting to keep that up. Girl, I've got the ring for you. And flicks the silver ring to her again. Better safe than sorry. And she slips it on as he casts Death Ward for her.
I'm going to move just to the side.
Needs a ring for that?
Technically, it's for split pane, but he's using it as a focus.
Warding bond is, I think.
Yeah, that's the one. Split pane is the Pathfinder one.
That's a better name. It tells you what it does without having to fucking make me read shit.
Yeah.
If you guys are getting in position, I'll open up with my spear and kind of push it open so I don't touch it with my hands.
Fair enough. Yeah, so you kind of push on the front door, and they're heavy, but they're the hinges are like well worn. Even though they're rusted, with the iron bands that keep it together, something is servicing the hinges, as despite the size of these massive arched, like 12-foot high and 10-foot wide wooden doors, they do swing open relatively easy with the push of your spear. So go ahead and open those up on the map. And they reveal the foyer. This room feels like a king's tomb. A grand staircase leads up to stone balconies held aloft by stone pillars and arches. A tall, faded tapestry depicting a nobleman in silver armor hangs from an iron rod above the staircase landing. 6 sets of double doors lead away from this room. Along the walls, displayed on marble pedestals, are 3 alabaster busts of handsome men. A 4th bust and its pedestal have been knocked over, and their shattered remains lie strewn across the mosaic floor. 2 chandeliers of wrought iron hang from the ceiling like monstrous black spiders.
Oh, this place is fantastic.
Oh. You say 3 men?
There were 4, the 4th is damaged.
Well, I'll definitely walk in cautiously and just kind of look around for anything that looks out of place. I don't know if this is kind of maybe looks like there's some doors that might be open, so maybe just take a look around. Maybe those footsteps lead somewhere.
Alright, I'll go with them.
Fair enough. I think you would... Let me make sure I'm telling you the right thing.
How well lit is this place?
There's plenty of windows, and it's early in the day, so think like just bright enough that you're not relying on dark vision. Um, there are obvious places where torches once would have gone, but none of them have torches in them anymore. If you were to be here at night, you'd need a light source, but right now, at least in exterior rooms, it's bright enough to see. And this is what I mean by exterior, like along the outer walls. If you find
Yeah.
like a closet, it's going to be dark, dark. But yeah, this room is lit enough that you don't need a light source yet. I guess none of you'd need a light source except for Ervir. So
Yeah.
Womp womp.
But also too, like maybe we're trying to like search this closet that's really dark. It'd be helpful if you had a little like Clitro flame just there to lighten it up a little bit, you know.
that's fair.
Before they get too far over, we'll ask the party to give, if we encounter any of the order, to give them the same respect that they would have in life.
I think the two of them will
Yeah.
move in. Actually, he
I can
won't
do
let her
that.
go
I'm
far.
not much for hunting things that have already died.
But yes,
But
I think
fun.
you seeing if you're looking for the footprints, like where they go,
Yeah.
you would kind of spot. How do I do the? Is it shift to do multiple sections of a line?
That's Q.
No, it's Q.
So like boom and then boom, yeah, and you like hold it without. Yeah, there you
Okay,
go. So
yeah.
it's like that way.
Kind of vaguely following this path.
Okay.
But yeah, there's sort of a empty echo of your footsteps on the flagstones in here. And like I said, yes, there's a broken pillar and bust here, one there, and then two across the opposite wall, and the um, tapestry that hangs there. Again, seems to show a man in like very, very, very fancy silver armor. And as you glance around, you actually spot that the busts that are still standing bear a fairly close resemblance to him. And the stairs do lead up on either side. And you can see up above you, like where the dashed lines are, there's clearly like a balcony that overlooks this space, the second floor of the manor. But yeah, so far, no real sound. And Rictavio would kind of mutter, well, I'll be honest, it's not as though I don't have experience heading into dark and dank places, hunting for nasty things. But usually it's not quite so empty.
It is a little too quiet.
Do I know anything about revenants and like a stasis
Um,
or like a period of inactivity? I mean, it is morning, and so that would be my gut. Is that they're just nocturnal because we haven't seen the writer during the day.
You did see the rider during the day
Oh,
once.
did we? Oh, then fuck
Yes.
it. Never mind.
But you've noticed that at night there are additional aspects to him. When you saw him during the day, he was just purely like that gaunt skeletal form.
Mm-hmm.
At night, there was some glow from the eyes. The lantern actually worked. He's the only times you've really spoken to him were at night.
I think that was the only time we tried.
Yes. I think the first time you just moved out of the way, but he didn't even really stop or engage with you other than a brief glance to the side as he passed when you passed him during the day. However, I think I'm not even gonna make you roll. You are a undead specialist. Revenants are a tricky case, right? Sometimes they retain, well, fully normal behavior. They can be a little bit squirrely because a revenant doesn't necessarily occupy their own body. Revenants happen when a soul dies, but is so dedicated to finishing some sort of task that it refuses to leave the material plane. Sometimes they end up back in their own corpse. Sometimes they end up in the nearest available functional body. And that can cause some whiplash, just like anybody who's been reincarnated versus resurrected. If you wake up as a gnome and you spent your entire life as a dragonkin, that's unusual. But mostly, when they're fresh, they're just people. However, if that soul can't finish its mission fast enough, sometimes they start to lose pieces of themselves. Almost like the soul burns up anything that's superfluous to the mission in order to keep itself fueled. Personality, habits, memories, all of those can fade with time. But they are not inherently sunlight sensitive. They are not inherently drawn to the dark. But you know it's been a very long time.
You said the torch holders are just empty. They don't even have unlit
Empty,
torches.
like literally the torches probably rotted away.
That makes sense.
Well, with the footprints leading this way, Yakobachi will suggest that we check some of these other doors down here, just because, why not?
Fair enough. Probably
Bam.
not a bad idea to get a lay of the land before we, well, run into whoever or whatever might still be here. Two sets of double doors. Yes, Romir?
I was just asking if there was any significance about like this broken stuff over here, or is that just
So
scenery?
to explain it again, it is scenery, but those are the four like marble statues of the faces.
The handsome
That's the
dudes he was
broken one.
describing in the,
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, these doors, you notice at a quick glance, these two sets of doors seem to match. Like they're big arched, kind of fancy looking wood doors, whereas across the way, the two double doors that mirror them don't match and seem a little bit more utilitarian.
Okay.
So you can guess these probably lead to the same room, I think.
Can deduce.
You would think maybe like a big ballroom or something to that effect.
Well, Narlock, I'm ready when you are, and I'll have my shield up, my spear ready.
We're opening this door.
I believe in you.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Looks like a big broken tower.
Yes. So you're just going to step in?
Yep.
Rubble is strewn throughout much of this vast chamber, caused by the partial collapse of the rooms above it. On the pink marble floor, chandeliers lie amid broken chairs and other furnishings. Thick webs stretch from wall to wall, and moving among them, above you, you see too many giant spiders to count. And like this is, as you step in, you go, oh fuck, and roll for initiative, please. Let me pop out the turn order.
There was one time Narlock just needed a nat 20 on an initiative. That's right, meow.
All right.
Oh,
Got it.
went to Irvir.
Got it.
We're gonna start with these because I think the rest are probably impossible to see hidden in the webs.
Big boys.
Whoops.
I always liked how pink the D&D giant spiders are. They're like these giant pink spiders.
Right?
It's pretty funny.
That's what we wanted.
Let's go.
Okay, and then Irina needs an initiative roll, and Octavio needs an initiative roll, and then we sort. So, Yeah, seems like Ervir is on the ball, but I think really from your vantage point, all you see is Narlug step into the room and go, "Oh fuck," because that spider is stuck to the ceiling above him. So through the doorway, I don't know if you have a good vantage point.
No. So let's say 5, 10. Y'all motherfuckers stepped 1 foot in too far. Can that spider fit through the doorway?
You feel like it would probably have to squeeze, but yes. Their legs are spread out to occupy the 10-foot space. The body is not 10 feet wide. Think more like a Great Dane with spindly spider legs. They're big, but they're not like car-sized.
Unfortunately, I was hoping to drag everybody out and close the door, but I don't think I could do that. Can I? Narlug is slow though. I might be able to.
I could always teleport.
It's
Do you
true.
need to see where you're going, or just know that you can go there?
I'm pretty sure I have to see it.
He does need line of effect.
Yeah, teleport to a space I can see.
Technically, out the window, you can see a whole lot of lawn if necessary.
True. Big facts.
In that case, I think Herfir will shout for. Or no, that also goes out to the lawn, right? That back wall's blown out.
Correct.
That's what
Alright.
she said.
Then I don't know. We're gonna do a upcasted bless regardless. So
Yes, Matthew.
let's do Narlug, Rolmir, myself, and Yakubachi.
Okay. So that is Narlug, Almir, you,
Yay.
and Akabachi. You get 4?
Yes, at level 2.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't doubting the 4. I just was not sure if it was 5. It just increases by
Oh
1.
no. Yeah, every upcast is 1.
Gotcha. Okay. In that case, you go ahead and cast Bless. You've moved a bit. Do you want to do any other moving?
I do, because I want to get out of the way in case movement becomes an issue. But not in that alcove, so I will. Oh, that's really a square, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'll move here where I can see everybody besides the people inside the room.
Okay. Works for me. Rolmir.
Huh? So are we trying to pull like the spiders like into the room? Is that like kind of what your main goal is? Your rear?
I was hoping that if you just close that door, they can't open it.
Our one weakness, the doors.
Okay.
Are they gonna be so pissed off that they all go skittering outside to try to find us?
You are living food.
Yeah, like it's morning,
Say you
sun's
just
out,
murder the
Spiders
shit
haven't
out
had
of
their
it.
coffee yet.
they just woke up.
Oh, this guy's in my web. Jesus, he just walked in and didn't even look around first. Fucking Bob, go down there and do something. Fine.
Okay. Well, I'm going.
I should give you a little bit clearer view of what's actually happening here, by the way. So, the room is about 15 feet high. The spiders are on the ceiling, but that means that they occupy a 10-foot cube, and the 5-foot space underneath them is where you are. If you choose to do so, you can reach them from where you are, if you want to engage with them. I will also point out, while these certainly could be a problem, they're not unreasonable to deal with. I think you guys would have an idea that spiders are not horrendously intelligent, not particularly powerful. They are big and scary, though. So it comes down to how you think your characters would react, but you've had some growth.
I was thinking if I move over here. So can I like move like this way though, just so I don't cause opportunity attack?
Where would you like to go?
Like kind of like go like here, then through here, since I'm gonna be under them.
Oh, if you're holding your token, I can't see it until you let them down.
Oh, like go here from
Yeah. So you
straight
only
down.
provoke when you leave their threatened area.
Okay.
So
Well,
if you
I
pass
didn't.
under him, no problem.
Okay, and then what I'm going to do is so I'm going to attack him since it's flanked though, so I'll do a sneak attack.
I'll give you flank. It's a little weird because you're like under him on either side, but I think he'd be focused on Narlug enough for you to have the distraction you need there. Okay, so you're gonna stab him.
Stab.
Yep.
+8, terrifying. Oh yeah, that hits by quite a bit.
Oh, the D6s.
Okay, so as Narla goes, oh fuck, Ralmir immediately zips into motion. You know, rapier's out in a flash. You run under this thing. You run the blade under the length of its body as you go. The soft, squishy bits that it doesn't normally like to have reached are kind of pivoted towards the ceiling, but you find that perfect spot between the plates where you can really sink the rapier in. And in one hit, you manage to take down this first spider, which crashes to the ground between you and twitches as it kind of curls up horribly.
All right.
So that's one down. I'm
Wow.
going to send that to the map layer so it's not in the fucking way. Oh, that's my anchor spider. God damn it.
You could
Hang
leave
on.
them on the layer and then just like move them off the map somewhere. That's what I usually do.
Yeah, I can. Um,
Can you like
usually like to-
swap it? Can you swap it with a different spider?
Start a body
No, I
dump
can do
outside in
this.
front.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
body dump.
Oh, that's weird. The map layer, when you click on it, does some really haunted shit. I'm just going to do this.
Map taunted.
Okay, and then I'm kind of surrounded by spiders. So,
I know what your instinct is. There's not a lot of things to hide behind.
no, that's what I was thinking of doing. Was I was thinking about disengaging
Okay.
and then kind of just like move myself back into the other room. I just wanted to try to attack one that was.
So you moved from here, right? So
Right.
that's
Or that's
20. So you've got about
20
10
feet.
left.
10 left.
Yeah, I know it's a little bit weird. These are 10-foot squares.
Oh, okay.
That's why we're so tiny.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I can.
So yeah, you kind of have two options. If you want to get back out, you'd have to dash and hope they miss you. Or if you want to just disengage and kind of jog back a ways, you could end up like in either of the squares that are kind of next to Narlug.
Okay, is teleport a bonus action?
Oh, do you have Misty Step?
No, I was seeing if just for if Norlogal couldn't.
Yes,
Okay.
Narlug's teleport that he has Misty Step is a bonus action.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
But it still counts as a cast, so.
It does. It is a leveled spell.
Oh,
But you can bonus action Misty Step and then cantrip.
Yeah.
yeah. Because if he wants to do that, I can give him advantage.
I don't even have to Misty Step at this point.
It's fair. You don't have anything breathing directly down your neck. Although,
Unless they
well,
decide to move onto me.
I
you
mean,
think
I'm
the hungry spiders are going to move?
Hey, I got a big old fireball saying not to.
That's fair. And I will say, for that matter, like you can't see them clearly through all the webs, but you can see there's movement on the other side of the room as well.
okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna stay put here though, and I'm gonna give our luck advantage. So if he wants to do
Sure, fair enough.
for one
All
reason
right.
or another. I mean, I don't think advantage really helps with fireball, but
It doesn't, but if he attacks with a cantrip or something, it could.
yeah.
So I think they recognize that you are a threat for sure.
Yeah.
But also Narlug looks delicious, and descending from the webs above. I hate how annoying this is because there's a. There we go. We're gonna go. That's 10.
Yeah, it's a little terrifying.
This one's gonna scrabble at the door, trying to get towards the foyer. And I think this one is gonna. How smart are you? Not particularly smart. This one is going to try and squeeze and cannot get past the others. They just kind of pile in, I think. But the ones that are on you, we're going to make 2 attacks. One. Oh, that's great, actually. So the ones in the back first are going to web you or attempt to. I assume an 8 does not hit you.
No.
A natural 1 does not hit you. It's a 14 hit you, Narlug.
14 hits the fucking piss out of me.
Okay. So it is not damage, but this one in the back kind of, trying to get past all of its, other spiders to get to you, realizes it can't, and it kind of, the end of its abdomen flips forward underneath it, and it shoots a bunch of webbing at you.
Mhm.
You are currently restrained. On your turn, you can either make a strength check to attempt to escape it, or attack and destroy it. I think you inherently know webbing is particularly susceptible to fire. But for now, you're restrained. The other 2 web attempts also horribly miss you guys, unfortunately. But a bite on... Ooh, that's a lot of dice. Miss. Another bite on Rolmir. A 15 to hit.
Yeah, because I think I forgot to put that armor back on, so my AC's right now is 15 and not 16.
But presumably you would have
Realistically,
put it
you would have
on.
remembered.
Yeah.
I trust that Rolmir is smart enough to know, even
Okay.
if Frank forgot.
Yeah, I did forget. So we're going to be
Okay.
honest here. So
That's okay. I'll give you the 16, so go ahead and
okay.
recheck that. But yes, one of them tries to sink its fangs into you and just barely does not get through the armor. Narlug, though, we got one more bite coming your way. You're so lucky. An 8 to hit. So yeah, a whole bunch of webs. You are restrained, which I will double check, but I don't think that impedes your ability to cast spells.
Yeah, I think it's just movement and then advantage and disadvantage on stuff.
Yes. A restrained creature becomes their speed becomes 0.
Yeah.
It cannot benefit from any bonus to its speed. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. And the creature has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. Unfortunately, though, I did miss the advantage against you, which means that it is a 23 to hit, not an 8. I know that gets you. Please make me a Constitution saving throw as you take 7 piercing damage and 3 poison damage from its fangs sinking into your shoulder.
A whopping 10.
Ooh. I'm afraid that's a 7, my guy. But
It's
the
up
10
the
would...
damage that I took.
Oh yes, 10. 7 piercing and
But you're
3 poison.
blessed.
You are blessed.
Oh
And
yeah.
a bless could save that. So roll your d4. Oh.
Big 9.
I don't
Cannonball
know.
can't always
Big
watch out
9.
for everybody at once.
Right?
So yes, you do take full poison damage. You do not suffer the poison condition though.
Cat threw up. I gotta clean it up. I'm here.
Oh.
That turns out for a while.
Yeah, you got some time.
Okay, fair enough. Von Richten. I think that's the in-character reaction, and he just kind of shakes his head and whips out the sword cane and is just gonna fucking run in there. Actually, I think he is gonna step there presenting a target for them intentionally, but he is going to... At first, it looks like he's trying to stab Narlug, but as the attack whips out, I think you would see he's actually attacking the webbing. Please select Rictavio correctly. Roll. That does hit. It is not quite enough, but he has multi-attack. Okay. Wow, that rolled 3 times. That's weird. He's only supposed to have 2. He is able to cut the webs off of you, Narlug, so you are not restrained anymore.
Sweet.
Before it is your turn, Ayakobachi.
Akobachi is going to wipe the drool off his face. He's excited for some blood. And he's going to come in here.
And you did hear a thump, by the way, as the spider slammed into this door. I assume you're going to go through the open door, but just so you know, you guys in the room heard that.
Could go over there. There's a lot of people right here. Damn. Okay. You know, I kind of like that idea. Let's see, because I can make it over here, and I got my spear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna open up this door.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take my.
You open up the door into like
Spider!
giant spider fangs on the other side.
Just out of reaction, just stab it really quick.
Yeah.
Spear it in the face. One-handed spear action for 16.
16 damage, or is that 16 to hit? 16 to hit. Yes, go ahead. That
For 4
definitely hits.
damage.
4. Okay. Yeah, you stab it real good, and the spear, I think, in your head as you stab into this thing, it doesn't have blood. It has like horrifying, ichor, like hydraulic spider fluid. And I think the spear kind of goes, ugh, disgusting in your head as it bites into this creature. But that spider's going to take 4 damage, and it hisses and recoils. Whoops.
I thought
said it
fluids were
before,
fluids.
so
I
it's
didn't think
subtracting
about it.
4.
You're right. How careless of me.
But yeah, as you kind of like, reprimand yourself,
And then,
I will drink deeply regardless.
as kind of like a defensive measure, I'm gonna like pose myself
Position
between
yourself
the
to
door
block.
and the spider so that our allies don't get a little behind the backer. You know what I'm saying? Classic spider
Okay.
techniques. I know how these spiders like to fight, so I'm gonna stand there with my shield and my spear.
Smart. Yeah, block the flank into the main room.
Yeah.
Narlark.
All right. I think this is gonna be pretty predictable.
Yeah. How are you going to place it? I think you can get everything, but I'd like to see.
It would be like that, and then it goes the other way too. Yeah, how did you do that? I'm using the wrong fucking thing here.
It is the go to circle.
This is the
to hit
measure
the
tool.
ruler.
But yeah, like that right there, and then I'll sculpt obviously around Invicta, me, and Ralmir.
Oh, you can sculpt around 3?
It's 1 plus the level of the spell.
Oh, damn. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so if you can sculpt around the 3 of you.
Yeah.
Uh,
There, or
Even there, I would say
Where
is
is
yeah,
fireball? It's hitting a lot of shit.
yeah.
Where's
You
fireball
got
out?
that for sure.
Go.
Well, that's a problem. Gonna need some
Is it
dexterity
lagging?
saves. It is
There's
laggy,
probably so
yeah,
many dice roll
unfortunately.
20 can't handle it.
There it is. Submit.
Okay. Phew. Spiders are safe. Spoilers. Let's see. Save. Dexterity. Or here. It's gonna be so much faster to just do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my god, some of these saves are disgusting.
They're probably pretty dexterous. They got 8 legs.
Right.
They do have good decks, but despite having good decks, the first few don't sound so bad. But in order, they are 20, 21, 15,
What do you
6,
fucking
6,
noob?
5,
You noob!
21, 4, which is a natural one. So I was counting bottom left up, so your DC is 14. Is that right? You're at 18 int? Yes. Okay, that is
That
right.
sounds about right.
So success, success, success. And second to last is a success. So that was actually just enough, Ayakobachi, that spider dies. That one is dead.
Teamwork
And
makes
then
the
the
dream work.
rest are badly, badly wounded. Please roll 20. It's so laggy today. What the fuck? This one succeeds, so he's only gonna take 7. Or not 7. I'm sorry. That's not how math works. I'm gonna take 12.
Fireball.
Big old balls of fire.
Fireball.
Okay, fire.
Okay, fire. Can I do that in here?
Yeah, Dave, it's just that ruler underneath the letter T, and then if you click it, you can like change like a square, circle, cone, beam.
Okay,
Oh
fine.
yeah, instead of line, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, so as you throw that into their midst, though it only kills one of them, you get the feeling that all of those in that center column are like you could sneeze and take them out.
Oh yeah, they're nice and crispy.
Yes, and the others that are on the perimeter are badly, badly hurt as well. Excellent use of a fireball. What would you like to do with the rest of your turn? Anything?
No siree.
Okay,
I was just gonna sit here and chill and hope he doesn't get bit 20 times.
fair enough. I think Irina is going to run in, and she's just going for it. She kind of like yells as she charges in with her sword. She is very clearly scared of spiders, but is going to try anyway. That is a crit. Good job, Irina. I'm proud of you. You finally did damage. As she runs up and sinks the sword directly into the face of the spider next to you, and does manage to down it. And as she pulls the sword out, she looks even a little bit surprised. Irvir, you appear to be back.
Hey. Sound like they were pretty dexterous. Man, how satisfying would a spirit guardians or a death guardian be right now? But instead, we're
Very,
just
but
going
isn't
to
a good use.
did one of the two spiders closer to me look like they got shot
The crispiest
further?
critters are in the center column.
Okay. Where's Rawmere? Okay, he's down there. I can kind of see that token. Yeah, that would provoke to move into my square.
Can you guys see the health bars or no?
No.
No.
Okay.
So I'm gonna Sacred Flame that one.
This one? Okay.
Yeah.
Dex, correct?
Yeep. Yeah.
With a dexterity save of 6, you hold out your hand and you chant the incantation, and the little wisp of fire comes down, and that spider bursts into holy flames, and with a shriek curls up and burns.
I don't like spiders that are big enough that they shriek.
It's not a good thing.
That's my turn.
Okay. Romir.
Okay. I'm just going to. I'm going to attack this guy here.
Okay. I am afraid a 12 does not hit. However, you are blessed.
Oh, I had blessed click for the global save modifier, not for the. Okay, I'm just gonna. Oh,
Oh, not quite.
not quite.
You're looking for 14.
Have to
I'm
exceed
sorry.
AC?
No, you have to tie. Tie goes to the runner, but they
Oh.
do have an AC 14.
I was one short. Okay.
Yep.
Well.
Hey, you one hit one on the first turn, you missed on the second turn. The dice giveth
Yeah.
and the dice taketh away.
I don't like. I guess I will. Being surrounded like that, so I'm going to disengage. Kind of just go over here.
Okay.
I didn't like being surrounded like that.
You can move through allies if you want, just so you know. But if you want to stay in front of Narlug, I'm sure he'd appreciate that too.
Yeah, I kind of fuck Narlock though, so.
And screw that guy. He's green. He's got big ass teeth.
He's got firefly flowing everywhere, just blowing shit up.
Right? But yeah, ally spaces are not considered obstructed. Enemies
Yep.
are.
I just move out of the way. A little sideways.
Yeah, if you think about it, you're not 5 feet wide. You threaten a 5-foot square. That's like where you can box people out with your weapon and like move to impede them if you want. But like Zaki said, you just kind of turn sideways and they walk by you. I'd be impressed if you were 5 feet wide.
Right.
Wide as rogue.
He's a wide lad.
Yeah, I'm just gonna chill here. That's my turn.
Okay. Sorry. Giant spiders. There is enough room for almost all of them to squeeze in on you. But the one in the back is gonna shot web. Actually, I have to see if he recharges first.
Oh, I shot whoop.
I'll reach
5 on the die. So he is going to attempt to web. Oh my god. Narlog again, as he is the one that does not have a crunchy exoskeleton. It's a 24 to hit, so you are restrained a second time.
Woo!
And then the one that has advantage on you is going to attempt to bite. Oh my god, that's so much dice. I'm very sorry. It's so much dice because it was a crit.
Wait,
so
because he's restrained, it has advantage. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a 22 and a 25, which is a crit to hit you. You are going to take 7 piercing and 24 poison damage.
Jesus Christ.
But
That's
the
a lot.
poison, the poison could be cut in half with a Constitution saving throw. So please give me that.
Big throws, big throws.
With bless.
Yep, that is plenty. So instead, you're going to take 12. So it's 7 piercing, 12 poison.
19.
Yep.
Did you prepare absorb elements?
That is an
Does it
element
count
to
as an
absorb.
ornament I could absorb?
I'm pretty
Yep.
sure it is.
It's a reaction.
That's a.
Even suck it down even more.
Spell captures something less than expect on you. So I just roll it?
You just do it, and then you get to do
You
that
just
damage
do it,
next
and
turn.
then when you, if you hit something with a melee weapon, right, you
Something
can
like
apply
that.
it.
I think it's a
That's
melee
pretty.
weapon.
Spell
Yep.
captures something.
Melee attack. Melee attack.
So I just take half of it then, right?
Half of the
Correct.
12.
Is that what
just
resistance?
half,
Yeah.
half of half.
So 6 plus 7, so 13.
Yeah, it's way
alright,
better.
Cool.
Correct.
That's way better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way better. And
And
that
yeah,
costs a spell slot, so
it does.
First
It's a
level.
level 1 spell.
yeah, let me just put it down before I forget to. There we go.
Oh, you know what?
Nice.
Poison's not on that list. It's acid, cold, fire, lightning, thunder. What the fuck am I talking about?
See, that's what I thought.
Oh, see, I thought poison was on there too. Acid, cold.
It's weird. It's an element. I guess.
Look at
it's
that.
It is an
Well,
element.
I'm at 22 now.
Oh well.
You know what? Fuck it. I lied to you and told you you could. This one night, for one night only, you can go ahead and cut that. That's fine. If you would like to do it, you can absorb poison here.
I'll eat the 6. It's cool.
Yeah, right. Save
Okay.
it for
Now I'm
later.
just gonna torch these fuckers afterwards.
It'll come in handy next time you need it.
That is
Spell.
fair. Okay. In that case, oh, I need to make attacks on Ralmir. Oh my gosh, I'm leaving you out of the fun. You're not restrained. That is a 20 to hit those. Please give me a Constitution saving throw.
Dokie.
The other one in the back here misses with its web.
Huh.
9.
I am afraid with a 9, you take 6 piercing and 10 poison damage. And the last spider is going to attack you, Ayakabachi. As it charges towards the doorway with a 10.
Block it.
Yeah, easy. So Rictavio is going to do what he did last time. He's going to multi-attack the webs surrounding Narlug. Well, maybe he'll roll well. He doesn't
rolls.
have advantage, unfortunately, but he does 5, which means he has to try again. Did that go or not?
Roll 20.
Come on, roll 20.
Because once you click it again, it's gonna roll 2.
It is, but we'll count the first one.
15.
He hits, but he does not finish destroying the webs. The webs have 3 HP remaining. So you're still restrained, unfortunately, and he kind of swears under his breath.
Yakobachi's gonna take a
Can't
hard
move.
look. Take a hard look at this here spider and see how burnt and crispy it is. He's trying to determine if it's within spear range or if he should just swipe the shit out of it with some primal. What's this guy looking like?
He's about half. You're
About
thinking
half.
probably primal savagery is more likely to do it, but I'm not 100% sure what
Yeah.
maximum damage is on
Unless
that.
unless this guy was on his
He
last
is out
leg.
of spear range, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, he's got
exactly.
7 left. 7 more legs.
Yakobachi's gonna put down the shield. And he is going to two-hand stab this spider right in the face.
Okay.
We're gonna risk it for the biscuit. If it's within range,
could
we're gonna
crit.
do it.
Oh no! I didn't mean 7 HP. 7 legs left. He has more than 7 hit points.
Okay, well then we're putting the shield and we're primal savagery in him
Okay.
for 15. Thank you, bless.
Okay, 15 to hit. Yes, that does hit.
That'll be 12 acid.
Oh, so close. But on the bright side, he is in spear range for next turn.
Ah!
That does put him down at 2 whole hit points. So yes.
Now he's
as
got
you
those.
take a bite out of the spider with basically what it's been doing to you.
I take a bite and I just bite off 6 of those 7 legs. It's like, now it's time. Now it's time.
Now it's time.
And I'll have my shield ready. I'll keep blocking this door. And yeah, that'll be my turn.
Okay. Narlug, we are up to you. Like I said, you are restrained. That does not prevent spellcasting. It just prevents movement.
Let's see, and we just got these 2 in the bottom left alive, right?
So you have 4, actually. This guy's barely up, barely up. Alive with more health down here, these 2.
Okay. There's a lot of people in here now.
Mm-hmm. It's crowded.
Yeah, we're just gonna death toll the dead. I guess the one closest to me.
Okay. Is that a attack roll or a save? I can't recall.
It's
Constitution
gonna
save?
be a save, wisdom save.
A wisdom.
Mm.
Well, it turns out spiders are not all that wise. That is a 9 and a 1. Um, so yes, as you turn to this spider, which does not quite have the mental capacity to fully understand the glimpse of death you've offered it, it instead just kind of looks at you, and then its head explodes and it slumps to the ground. But yeah, kaboom! You are still restrained, um, so you can't move. Do you have a bonus action or anything?
No, I'm just gonna chill. Fuck it.
Okay, fair enough. Irina.
Try to hold on to these spell
Irina
slots.
is anxiously and probably slightly foolishly going to step up and attempt to put down this last wounded one. Hiya! She crits again?
She's hot.
Let's go, Irina. She didn't need it, has 2 HP, but she just rams her sword directly into this one's face again. And shockingly, it does go down.
Well, she don't like spiders, so she really
No
wanted to
kidding.
live.
Kill it.
Get off, and then off to the map layer with you. Irvir.
Where the fuck is Yakubachi? I
Yakubachi's
thought he was
over.
down here.
No, he's in this doorway over here on the other side.
Okay. I will move over here then and Word of Radiance, both of these spiders.
Okay, it's a point blank AoE, correct?
Yeah, 5-point AoE.
Yep.
Con save, I believe.
Con.
Good.
DC 16. That's a 5 and an 11 from those two spiders. Take 11 radiant. They are so close to dead, but I'm afraid that doesn't quite do it. They cling on with one leg remaining, but those spiders are definitely reconsidering their life choices right now.
Right,
Anything
it's like the
else
bug you half
from
smashed.
you,
Its
Irvir?
legs are still scrambling
I'm
and
good.
shit.
Okay. We are to you, Rolmir.
Okay, I'm gonna move over here so I could get the flanking bonus, and I'm gonna attack.
Okay. Yep.
Kill it.
So you have advantage. You're consistent. That is definitely enough to hit. Please give me damage. That would have killed the spider at full health. It currently has 3 HP remaining, which means that you kind of, get the rapier all the way in there up to the hilt and kind of give it a quick stir, and the spider just collapses into a heap. One more down.
You know,
Anything else from you, sir?
Yakubachi's up here really could use some advice on spider killing.
Oh yeah, I'll give Lakabashi advantage.
There you go.
Where?
You like that?
In the head? Okay.
Yeah, stab him in
Can
the
do.
head to the abdomen.
Yes. Giant spiders. This one is just gonna try and bite you, Irvir.
Yeah.
He's probably ill-advised, but you're the most logical target. No, 10 to hit.
No.
And the other one is going to roll a 23 to hit you, Ayakobachi,
We're gonna take
as it bites at you. But please give me a DC 11 con save.
con. 8.
Well, that's not an 11. So please take 10 piercing and 5 poison damage as the fangs, glistening with venom, bite you in the shoulder.
Glistening in the sun.
Then we're to Rictavio, who I think is going to run down here because he can't really see you, Ayakobachi, and he's going to attempt to murder this spider that is attacking the healer. We're going to multi-attack with the sword cane. It's a 19 to hit, which does hit, and 6 damage is just enough as he, whips the cane around and brings it down, severing the head cleanly off. A little flick to get rid of any of the goo. All right, that brings us around to Hayakobachi.
And Yakobachi
Get
will
him!
take down the wooden shield. He'll be like head to abdomen, and he will swing this blood spear with 2 hands.
2 hands, okay.
Advantage. As the poison kind of oozes out of his neck, he wants revenge. Where'd it
For
go?
it?
Yeah. Let's fucking
That looks good
You
to
did
me.
it.
Hell yeah. Okay. So yeah, you deal 4 piercing, which is definitely enough to kill it. And as the spider like shrieks and ichor spurts out of it, you notice that it splashes on the spear, and the spear just like guides it up the haft towards your hands, and as it kind of washes over you, you feel rejuvenated, and you do gain 11 temporary HP.
I just feel like, he gets kind of veiny. He's like, yes.
And in your head, you hear, "Yes, that's how it's done." And for the moment, as everybody kind of like looks around at the webs, smoldering from the remnants of the fireball as they slowly burn away, it's quiet again.
Oh,
You would have thought that sounds of battle might have drawn something to you. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna walk up to Narlock and just pull out the dagger, though, and just slice the web off.
Pull out the dagger and right under the chin while he can't get away. Yeah, okay. Cut the rest of the webs off. And as you do, kind of like pulling and cutting, I think
Thank you, friend.
Von Richten will just kind of, welcome to Argynvost, Holt, I guess. And because we are running over a little bit, we will stop there for today. But we will
Yeah.
pick up next time with the rest of the dungeon crawl.